Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I thought I'd try something a little new and do a fun video in a similar theme I've seen tons of other YouTubers do for their vehicles, going over 5 things that I hate about my Toyota Tacoma. So quick disclaimer, I love my Toyota Tacoma, but I will do a follow-up video for 5 things I love about it, etc. But we'll get started with the fun 5 things I hate about my Toyota Tacoma. To start with, I drive a 2014 TRD off-road double cab short bed. It's the V6 automatic. Some of the things I'll talk about in my list are probably universal for all Tacomas. Some may be just specific to the second gens, which is models 2005 to 2015, those model years. So without further ado, here are 5 things that I hate about my Toyota Tacoma. Number 1. Gas mileage. You've owned your Tacoma for a week or 2, or however long it takes you to get to that first fill up, you realize that the gas mileage, it's not terrible, but I think it should definitely be higher than it is for a V6. It's not a super heavy truck. Obviously it's not a lightweight vehicle, but about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago I had a 2006 Silverado Super Sport that has the 6-liter V8. And I got the same exact gas mileage that I get in my Tacoma. And I don't have a heavy foot or anything. I drive my truck like a truck, not like a car, so I mean, I rarely go over 2,000 RPMs. On the highway I might get 23. In city it's probably 17 or 18. I do have an aftermarket steel rear bumper for a little weight, but I haven't added sliders, front bumper, winch, or any of that stuff yet. So, or a lift, or bigger tires for that matter. So I can only imagine it'll drop a few more MPGs after I do that, so maybe one of these years Toyota will make a Tacoma that's actually fuel efficient, since I'm pretty sure they did away with the 4-cylinder options. Number 2. Most people are well aware, and I'm sure Toyota is, that there's a huge aftermarket scene for Tacomas. People modding their trucks, usually to go off-road and do that kind of stuff. Yet Toyota makes it very difficult for you to fit a simple 33-inch tire on your Tacoma. I'm pretty sure this applies to the 3rd gens as well, but it's obviously true on the 2nd gens. To fit a 33, like a 285, 75 R16 or something similar, you have to remove your mud flaps, you have to trim tons of the plastic, lining and the wheel well on the front wheels. And you even have to do what's called a cab mount chop, which you literally cut a chunk out of the front of the frame of your Tacoma, because otherwise the 285 will rub. I mean, I don't think you have this problem with Jeeps or other similar vehicles that have a huge aftermarket scene for off-roading. So maybe one of these days Toyota will give the Tacomas bigger wheel wells and make it easier to put a simple 33-inch tire on it. I've seen people do 35s, etc., but you pretty much need an engineering degree to get them to fit under there. So the 3rd thing I hate about my Tacoma, and this is probably going to sound stupid at first, but I hate that it has a high resale value. And just be patient with me, you'll see where I'm going with this. For most of you living in most states, this will not be an issue, but I live in Virginia, and Virginia has what's called a personal property tax, which is something you have to pay on a yearly basis. For us, it's due in October, where the state pretty much assesses the value of your vehicle, and you have to pay a fine for it. Since Tacomas have such a high resale value, this really stings each year, because my vehicle is not dropping in value like 99% of the other vehicles out there. So the tax I owe on this for Virginia is only going down like $20 or $30 a month. To put it in perspective, this is a 2014 Tacoma. The first year, so I got it in August of 2014, paid my first personal property tax in October of 2014, but that wasn't for a full year of ownership for the Tacoma. So my first real dose of this was October 2015, and I had to pay the personal property tax of $750 to Virginia. When I paid my personal property tax in October of 2016, it was like $720. So it did not drop that much, whereas other vehicles I've had, it drops hundreds of dollars over the years, over just a 1-year difference. So again, to put that in perspective, I mean, $750, that's most of the cost of, you know, you could get a front high clearance off-road bumper for that, or, you know, whatever you want to buy for your truck, you could put that money to that, or anything else. Yet, because I live in Virginia and have a Tacoma with high resale value, I get to pay a crazy amount of personal property tax on a yearly basis. So who knows, maybe next year I'll get lucky and it'll drop below $700, so we will see. The fourth thing I hate about my Tacoma, it's a minor thing, but it just sort of irritates me. Tacomas are well made, everyone knows. Toyota makes great vehicles, cars and trucks, they last forever. But their attention to detail as far as the little things is sometimes lacking. And with Tacomas, this translates into rattles. Personally, I have not experienced too many rattles yet. I'm sure I will. I see tons of other people talking about all kinds of rattles. It's just sort of ridiculous for a vehicle that's so well made. The small plastic pieces are what drives you crazy at the end of the day. So I've only had 1 or 2 small instances that I've been able to fix and remedy, so knock on wood. We'll see what I have to deal with in the future as I get more miles on the vehicle. I've only had it for about 2.5 years right now with, I don't know, 20 to 25,000 miles. So definitely still a baby as far as Tacomas go that, you know, run hundreds of thousands of miles easily with basic maintenance. So rattles are usually the bane of any Tacoma owner. The fifth and final thing I'll put on this list of 5 things I hate about Tacomas is the brakes. Toyota still, even on the 3rd gen Tacomas, so the 2016, 2017 and newer, they still have rear drum brakes, which, find another vehicle that has drums in the rear still. It's a dying market. And the front brakes, Tacomas, I haven't been in too many situations where I've really had to slam on my brakes, but when I do, it's kind of scary because I feel like they're definitely lacking in stopping power. I'm actually looking at fixing that in the future and getting drilled or slotted rotors. I'll have to see what's best for my application, but definitely a little extra stopping power would help. And I have barely begun to have to do mods to my truck that actually add more weight too, so obviously the factory braking power of the truck will only get worse the more weight you add, more weight to decelerate, etc. Okay guys, so that was 5 things that I hate about my Tacoma. I will definitely do a follow-up vid in the near future with 5 things that I love about my Tacoma, because I do love it. It's a great vehicle. I'm going to keep it forever and run it into the ground, and there's always something to buy for it. And I know it'll last forever, so even though I made this list, I still love my Tacoma. So please stay tuned for the next video. If you're just stopping by for the first time, please consider subscribing, giving the video a thumbs up, and stay tuned. Thanks for stopping by.